Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another meeting of the Toastmasters in Wenatchee, Washington. I am excited that we're all here this evening. I am going to pass it on to our Sergeant of Arms, Rob Tidd, to lead us through the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Madam President. If everyone would please mute themselves, focus on my screen, and will repeat along with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you. Well, I am playing two roles this evening, and I am also the Toastmaster as well for this evening. So I guess I'm going to introduce myself as the Toastmaster to make opening remarks. And I need to kind of review what are the changes tonight. People jump in and tell me since there's such a small group, are there many changes?
Madam President, there are no changes on the agenda.
Okay.
And I believe that Eric Stepper has volunteered to tell a very clean joke.
Okay, perfect. Please take it away, Eric.
An old physician, Dr. Gordon Geezer, became very bored in retirement and decided to reopen a medical clinic. Put a sign up outside that said, Dr. Geezer's Clinic, get your treatment for $500. If not cured, get back $1,000. Dr. Digger Young, positive that this old geezer didn't know beans about medicine, thought this would be a great opportunity to get $1,000. So he went to Dr. Geezer's clinic. Dr. Young said to Dr. Geezer, I have lost all taste in my mouth. Can you please help me? Dr. Geezer said, nurse, please bring me medicine from box 22 and put 3 drops in Dr. Young's mouth. Dr. Young, this is gasoline. Dr. Geezer, congratulations. You've got your taste back. That'll be $500. Dr. Young gets annoyed and goes back after a couple of days figuring to recover his money. Dr. Young, I have lost my memory. I can't remember anything. Dr. Geezer, nurse, please bring medicine from box 22 and put 3 drops in a patient's mouth. Dr. Young, oh no, you don't. That is gasoline. Congratulations. You've got your memory back. That'll be $500. Dr. Young, after having lost $1,000, leaves angrily and comes back after several more days. Dr. Young, my eyesight has become weak. I can't hardly see anything. Dr. Geezer, well, I don't have any medicine for that. So here's your $1,000 back. And he gave him a $10 bill. Dr. Young, this is only $10. Congratulations, you got your vision back. That'll be $500. Don't make old people mad. We don't like being old in the first place. So it doesn't take much to tick us off.
Cute. Thank you, Eric, for sharing your joke of the day with me.
You're welcome.
With us. It is with great pleasure that I'm going to introduce our general evaluator for this evening, Christina Stepper.
Thank you, Barbara. Madam President, Madam Toastmaster, Madam every in the book here. We have no speeches tonight, and thus we have no evaluators, which makes my job as general evaluator even easier. As general evaluator, I will pay attention to the overall meeting, how it flows, how we do on time. I will have a trio of assistants to help in aspects of the evaluation. First is our timer tonight, Rob Tidd. Would you explain your role, Rob?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. When giving speeches, it's important to make sure your speeches fall within a prescribed timeline. This evening, we do not have any main speakers, but we have a whole host of table topic speakers. Tonight, those speeches will be 2 to 3 minutes in length. I will show the green vegetables at 2 minutes, the yellow vegetables at 2.5 minutes, and the delicious red vegetables at 3 minutes. I will then report back at the end of the meeting how everyone is done. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Rob. Great explanation of your role. We have an esteemed member of our club back with us tonight, and he is going to be our grammarian. Dean, could you explain your role to us, please?
I will try. My role is to take note of the use of our grammar, both good and bad. I will focus on the good since we often don't have too many misuses of grammar in our meetings. I'm also responsible for providing the word of the day, which was a bit of a challenge this week because I like to pick a word that is related to the meeting theme, annual celebrations ? So I looked up annual and I looked up celebration, and none of the synonyms did much for me. So I put them together and thought, okay, periodic, how about that? We all know what periodic means, but I was surprised when I looked it up because it's more than I thought it was. The definition we're probably all familiar with is appearing or occurring at intervals. An example is she made periodic visits to her father. And I should have remembered, well, I did remember that there's also in chemistry the periodic table of the elements. The one that really surprised me was relating to a rhetorical period. I had to look that one up. A sentence that by leaving the completion of its main clause to the end produces an effect of suspense, as in, all alone in the world without any money, he died. So try to use periodic this evening, corresponding to any of those three definitions. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much. I will explain why Eric was up and down a bit there. He went and got our timing devices. So when Rob does table topics, we can time him and display the appropriate colors for that. The third member of our team this evening is our awe counter, Lloyd Smith. Lloyd, would you explain your role, please?
Thank you, Christina. I am indeed the awe counter. I haven't done awe counter at a meeting in a long, long time, but by coincidence, I do it here tonight and then in Ellensburg on Thursday evening. That coincidence doesn't signify anything at all, but it's just, what can you say? I will be using our handy dandy awe counter log form. Many of you don't know this, but Christina is actually the person who assembled this form to make it easier to do awe counting. Before we had the form, generally speaking, people just had a list and tried to scribble down things other people had said, and frankly did not do a good job of it. That includes me. The awe counter form has made the job much, much easier. So thank you for that, Christina. I will be looking for filler words, the typical things, or that sort of thing, misuses of the words and, but, and so. Those words are not evil per se, but they need to be used correctly in order to not be considered fillers. And I will be using, also be looking for things like repetitions and miscellaneous things that interfere with meaning. And I will report at the end of the meeting. Back to you, Christina.
Thank you, Lloyd. It's going to be a fun meeting tonight. Lots of table topics. I will turn it now back over to our Toastmaster. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
She's back.
Sorry about that. Okay, thank you very much. I am going.
You looked like there was a creature staring back at you out of your screen.
I'm sorry.
The look on your
I'm-
face is the whole look of horror, you know.
Okay, it is with great pleasure that I'm going to introduce our table topics master for this evening. And I'm going to need your help because I have lost, with all my windows open, our agenda. Who is our table topics? Is Eric? No, Eric. Okay. So let me introduce, I am excited to introduce you to our table topics master, Eric Stepper. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Miss Toastmaster.
While I hunt.
We have a portion in our program where we get to practice extemporaneous speaking. We have an intrepid group here, a veteran group, but our club is going through a lame streak where nobody's doing speeches, which includes me. I need to step up and take my spot. So that's why we're going to have 2 to 3 minutes, and we're going to have several. My wife had a good suggestion. The theme is annual celebrations, ? A very periodic theme. And I am going to let you pick your poison after I go through a few of these. This is all very confusing. I understand that, but that's what we're trying to do, is wade through the confusion. When we do table topics, we want to gather our thoughts and try to speak succinctly, putting thoughts together, have a beginning, a middle, and an end. The idea is to get comfortable being uncomfortable and being comfortable in the silence. Try to maintain that, try and gather your thoughts. We have an intrepid group tonight, and I want you to lean into these questions and take your time, be comfortable with the silence, answer them as best you can. These are all going to require you thinking out of the box and adding your own flavor to it. Let's start off. Remember, the word of the day is periodic. Somebody trying to come in here?
Fabiola's trying to get in, but her Wi-Fi's giving her
Oh,
issues.
Fabiola was trying to come in, but she can't get in.
She said that her Wi-Fi is
Okay, you're in contact with her? Okay, good. Annual celebrations. What is your favorite holiday? What is your favorite holiday, Pat?
Oh, there she is. Who did you
Eric,
ask?
Eric, I'm not sure Pat knew that you were addressing that to her.
Yeah, let's see if Fabiola can get in here.
Did you address that to me? I didn't hear my name.
Yes, I'm sorry. Didn't speak loud enough. What is your favorite holiday, Pat?
Oh, that's a difficult question to answer because I enjoy every holiday. I think I would have to say Thanksgiving. And the reason Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday is because my daughter was born on November 26th. And we've always thought of Thanksgiving as her special holiday. That whole week is framed by celebrations. Since I've lived in Wenatchee, I have an annual birthday tea for her, inviting some good friends of hers. And I'm talking about a formal tea in which I drag out my antique china teapot and teacups and beautiful serving pieces, and we have all kinds of wonderful treats like hors d'oeuvres and special sweets. Since we've had COVID, we no longer have a birthday cake. The birthday cake lives as candles, and she gets to blow out the candle on hers, and then everybody else's can come in and do that. So we do that during that week. Then on Thanksgiving, the whole family, all 4 generations of us, get together in one way or another, and everybody contributes something to the meal, including Kathy, because we end up having to have it at her house. She has the largest home, and it's a good place for us to gather, and we can celebrate her birthday. This year, she's going to be 60. I guess she's getting old. And we're going to go to Las Vegas to celebrate her birthday. And she doesn't know any of us are coming. We have our air reservations made. We have our hotels reservations made. What's happening is she and her husband are going with some friends of theirs down over the Veterans Day holiday. So we're going to move the Thanksgiving celebration, the big one, to a place in Las Vegas where we're going to celebrate her 60th surprise birthday. That'll be really a lot of fun. But that's the 11th, the weekend of the 11th, which means when we come back home, we get to celebrate again. Since she's my only child, I call her my masterpiece. Since she was born at nearly Thanksgiving, she wasn't born on Thanksgiving Day, it's quite a thing to have a holiday that appears periodically on our calendar, but coincides very nicely with her birthday, even if it doesn't fall on that particular day. Gives us the option of doing a variety of things together as a family. When we lived in Mammoth and we lived in Park City, fortunately, it was always a ski day, but most of us have pretty much given up skiing. Therefore, if you ask me what is my favorite holiday, it's a hard decision to make, but I choose Thanksgiving because it honors not only reasons to be thankful, but my biggest reason to be thankful is having such a wonderful, beautiful, and talented daughter. Thank you.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Fabiola, the table topics are going to be 2 to 3 minutes tonight when I call on you. What is your favorite tradition for 4th of July? We have traditions for every holiday that we like to do, but what is your favorite tradition for 4th of July, Dean?
That was for the 4th of July, the favorite tradition.
Right.
Ouch, that's a hard one because we don't really have a tradition for that. Part of the reason for that, of course, is that we live in wildfire country, so there are no fireworks. And fortunately, the county has a considerable ban on fireworks or anything related to that, so that we don't even have to listen to home fireworks or gunshots or any of that sort of thing. But if I had to say in recent years, what tradition do we have? It's pretty much hunkering down here at our house because we live in a tourist destination. So it gets very busy here. And we try to avoid town. We'll go shopping on Thursday or Friday before the holiday. Of course, that depends on when it is. If it's in the middle of the week, that doesn't really count. That doesn't work, rather. But we'll shop before and have supplies laid in, and then we don't have to drive. We'll go for hikes, we'll go for bicycle rides. We might get out and do a little bit of fishing. Basically, it's a nice time of the year because the fires haven't really quite started yet, unless somebody gets stupid, which they haven't in recent years, and at least not until a week afterwards. And we just sort of relax and enjoy the warmth after what's often a snowy winter and a cold spring. And sometimes we'll get together with friends and have a cookout, and the attendant drinking, of course, usually in the form of beer. So I can't say that we have a whole lot of traditions specific to the 4th of July. But if it wasn't so hazardous to blow off fireworks, I would certainly enjoy seeing fireworks. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Dean. Good job. What do you like better? Thanksgiving or Christmas? What do you like better and why? Thanksgiving or Christmas? Christina?
Tough one. I enjoy both Thanksgiving and Christmas. I enjoy Thanksgiving because every year we get together with our children somewhere. Generally, lately, it's been at our daughter Lisa's home, as she can accommodate the most people. We've been doing that for several years now. It's just great to be together with the kids and their kids. There isn't the craziness and chaos of the tree and the gifts and distractions, especially for the children, for the grandchildren at Thanksgiving time. That's why I enjoy Thanksgiving. I enjoy Christmas because it is the celebration of Christ's birth, which is very exciting to me every year. I enjoy looking at the scriptures leading up to it. I enjoy thinking about it. I thoroughly enjoy the significance of the season. We usually lately have had quiet Christmases, mostly just the two of us. We prefer that the kids not drive when the weather's bad. They are some in the Seattle area, some in the Spokane area. And we feel it's better if they stay home and let their kids enjoy what they got for Christmas. I remember as a small child, we would unwrap all of our gifts, and then it was, okay, go get on your good clothes. It's time to go to grandma's. And we would grudgingly go. We loved our grandparents, but we really wanted to stay home and play with our dolls and play with our toys and the new things we received. So we've encouraged our kids not to do that with theirs, to let Christmas be a family day and make Thanksgiving the time that we all get together. There are lots of opportunities to get together. Between Thanksgiving or between Christmas and New Year's is another great opportunity. I guess I didn't answer the either or very well. I answered both, but hey, that's how I feel about Christmas and Thanksgiving. Thank you.
You just demonstrated a woman's prerogative. It's getting to be where there's almost a celebration for every day of the year. This next portion is going to allow you to demonstrate thinking on your feet. Rob, I want you to give me a date, and I'm going to pick up the celebration that's closest to it. Any date in your little mind.
What was the question, Eric? I'm sorry.
Pick any date that you want to, and I will tell you the theme of that day, and you can tell me what you would do for it.
October 31st.
So that, of course, is Halloween, but I'm not talking about major holidays. Do you want to stick with that, or do you want to pick another one?
I'll stick with that one.
Okay, go for it.
For most people, October 31st is a fun evening. Kids go out, they get dressed up, they knock on doors, they get candy. They really enjoy that evening, getting dressed up and getting a lot of candy that causes cavities. For me, not so much. The reason is, some 65 years ago, I was about to be born, but I didn't want to be a Halloween baby. So I told my mom, in my own certain way, kicking and screaming, that it wasn't my time to be born on Halloween. Because I knew the next day was All Saints' Day. I wanted to be a saint. Some may call that day, I'm probably going to mess this up, El Dia del Muerto. I consider it just the opposite. November 1st is a day for All Saints. I am a much happier person having been born on that day than if it had been 24 hours earlier. I don't have a sweet tooth. I attribute that to the fact that I was not born on Halloween. I don't like to paint my face. I don't like to get dressed up in Halloween costumes. It's because that's not what saintly people do. I consider Halloween probably my least favorite holiday. And there are a lot of holidays that are celebrated in our country. That is one that I could do without. There are many other holidays that I would probably pick next to an All Saints Day Halloween holiday. But there are others that I too don't think really resonate with me. Two of them that come to mind would be Cinco de Mayo. I realize that that is a very special day in certain cultures. However, when I was growing up, it was just another holiday to drink all day and get in trouble. Same with St. Patrick's Day. I've never been fond of green beer. Again, it was just another day to say, let's go out and drink and get in trouble. So those are two additional holidays I probably could do without. I think I'll stop there. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Good job. All right, Fabiola, pick a date, and Rob, he's modified the program. Don't pick a national holiday, just pick any date, and I'll give you the celebration for it.
Okay. January 26th.
It is the National Plan for Vacation Day. What would you do on that day?
Oh my goodness.
You got a good one.
National Plan a Vacation Day. I would plan vacations for the whole year. One every month, if I could. And that doesn't mean that it would have to be a vacation necessarily in another country, but at least out of town. I think that all of us can use a day out of town where we can plan hiking trips and go out into the mountains, enjoy nature, enjoy new scenery, and spend that with friends. And yes, I would plan a couple of trips in there that would be international trips, maybe at least one a year. But I would definitely plan trips every month on a monthly basis to go out and do hikings, because we have a lot of beautiful national parks around the country. One of the parks that is on my bucket list is Zion I would love to go visit the Zion. The Red Forest is another one. The canyons, the Great Canyon. Internationally, I would say that one would be Machu Picchu. I'm interested in going to Machu Picchu. I would have to do a little bit more research so that I could have a hike planned every month for 12. So 12 specific hikes that I would go and do a vacation out of town. And we still even have beautiful hikes around Washington State that we could do as well. Mount Rainier is one that I have not done. And so researching a little bit more of that, but definitely going out to the outdoors, enjoying the fresh air, getting away from the traffic, technology, and having some downtime where I can enjoy life and reboot. Thank you for the question.
That's very periodic. Good job. Lloyd, pick a date, please.
I didn't catch that, Eric. What did you say?
Pick a date and I will give you the celebration of that day, any day.
Okay.
Except national holidays. Don't do national holidays.
Okay. December 2nd.
The closest one is December 5th, and that is National Bathtub Party Day.
National Bathtub Party Day. I've got to admit, that's an intriguing annual observance. One can think of a lot of different ways you could approach that holiday. For example, you could celebrate the existence of bathtubs. The world would be a very different place without them, obviously. You could celebrate in a bathtub, possibly. Or you could wonder whether I'm assuming there's a trade association of the manufacturers of plumbing facilities. And I suspect they may have had something to do with the creation of that holiday, because there are numerous other holidays that trade associations have devised to get people to buy their stuff, is what it amounts to. Why should the St. Patrick's Day people have all the fun with all the green Tic Tac stuff that you can buy when you can go buy a new bathtub? You know, that's the kind of topic that is rather limited as to what you can say. And I have reached that limit. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster, or Table Topics Master, sorry.
You did better with it than I would have. Barbara, it's your turn. Pick a date.
Pick a date. June. I'm going to pick a date and see if it matches. June 3rd.
The closest one is June 14th, and it's National Pop Goes the Weasel Day.
Pop Goes the Weasel Day?
National Pop Goes the Weasel Day. What would you do for that celebration?
And this is June, what day?
June 14th.
June 14th. So I'm going to I'm not going to talk about June 14th and Pop Goes the Weasel Day. I'm going to talk about June 3rd and the importance of that day. June 3rd is a day that I'm sure that Rob doesn't celebrate, but it is definitely a day that I celebrate. And it is National Donut Day. So every year on National Donut Day, June 3rd, I buy my staff donuts. I bring donuts. And there's so many different ways to celebrate National Donut Day. You can make them yourself. You could try to eat as many donuts as you want. Or maybe you could try a different donut, like maple with bacon on it. I don't know much about the history of Donut Day, so forgive me to those historians in the room. I can tell you that it was started by the Salvation Army as a way to raise funds. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lloyd, so I'm looking at you. I believe it was to raise funds for during the Depression. Sorry.
Sure.
So yes, so it is an important holiday in the library world, as well as Pi Day. And I'm running out of other things to say about Donut Day. Please mark it on your calendar and support your local bakery, such as Glaze or Sure to Rise Bakery, or many, many others that have incredible donuts, which I do. I buy them from at least 3 different places that day. So
Thank you. So now we have another to add to the list of national holidays. Pat, pick a date, please. You pick a date, any date, and let's see what that one has to say.
How about July 14th?
That's National Pandemonium Day. What would you do for Pandemonium Day?
The reason I chose it is because it's the anniversary of the French Revolution and it's Bastille Day. And Paris is one of my favorite cities. I've been there many times and I love it. Well, if you think about the original Bastille Day and you think of what was going on in France, it definitely would coincide with the idea of National Pandemonium Day. However, I would say in our country, we probably don't want everybody in any major city or small town storming all the prisons and letting the prisoners out, because that would multiply the pandemonium. And I don't know how to extend the meaning of pandemonium to be super califragilistic pandemonium, but it would just be a terrible mess. People would be driving in the streets and honking their horns like those truckers did in Ottawa, and like they're threatening to do for the president's State of the Union speech tomorrow. That would definitely be pandemonium. I've never heard about that before. That's quite a novel thing to see truckers getting together. And my understanding is that they drove clear across the country. They started out in California on their way to Washington, D.C. As I said, I chose July 14th because it is Bastille Day, because it is a national holiday in France, because it's a very patriotic thing. And people in Paris, oh, they light up the Eiffel Tower and they have fireworks and they have music in all of the parks, things like that. But if you go back to that day in the 1800s, I think it was the 1800s. It may even have been the 1700s. I don't have the date clear in my mind. And you think of what Paris must have been like with all those crowds of people doing all the destructive things they were doing and revolting against the king. And then now you think of, in modern times, you could have teams and convoys of trucks honking and doing that. That would give me such a headache to have to listen to all of those horns. If you've ever heard a truck horn, you know it's enough to raise the hair on your head straight up. That would certainly be a way to celebrate National Pandemonium Day.
Excellent job, Pat. Really good. All right, Dean, it's your choice. It's your turn to pick a day of the year.
June 19.
June 19th. June 17th is the closest one. And it's National Take Back the Lunch Break Day. I was hoping to be better than the fireworks one, but let's see.
Well, that's certainly something that I would support, taking back the lunch break. I would guess for the last 10 or 15 years of my working life, lunch breaks were rather slim and short. I often ate at my desk. I was chronically overworked and too busy to really sit down and take a nice break. I probably should have. It's always a good idea to take a break during the day and refresh oneself. And what better way to do that than to have a lunch? I think periodically we went out to lunch at work, which was nice. It was usually for some special occasion, be it a promotion or somebody leaving, which was always sad for us, but good for them. But those were nice. I learned that it wasn't a very good idea to have any alcoholic beverages at lunch. I did that once and only once and never did it again because it completely wasted the entire afternoon for me. Now, some people could do that, but I was not one of them and never did it again. But certainly a national take back your lunch break day is something that I could support. I think it's something we all should do during the day, whether we're working or not, to just take a little time out, take a break, think about what you've accomplished. What are you going to do the rest of the day? Pat yourself on the back for the good things you've done and carry on with the rest of the day and the rest of the week. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Good job. Thank you for enduring all this torture. You guys did excellent. Back to the Toastmaster, Barbara.
Thank you so much for those questions, Eric. And I love the little spin on it for us to pick a date and to hear what the national holiday or the holiday that was celebrated that day was. And I'm still going to have to think about Pop Goes the Weasel and what exactly is celebrated that day. Is that a toy? So again, thank you. I'm going to turn it back over to our general evaluator, Christina Stepper.
Thank you, Barbara. Speaking of Pop Goes the Weasel, I remember that wind-up thing, the box with the wind-up that played Pop Goes the Weasel when I was a kiddo. And it didn't matter how many times I did it. It always surprised me when the thing popped out. I don't know why I couldn't figure out where in the song the weasel was coming out of the box, but it was always exciting and good for a laugh. What a fun meeting. It would be lovely if we had speeches, but the 2 to 3 minute challenge is a good one for all of us. I appreciate the table topics tonight. At this point, I would like to call on members of the evaluation team to share their reports. Rob, would you share information on the timing, please?
I would be happy to, Madam General Evaluator. What I did this evening is that I put together a periodic table, so that I could tell everybody exactly what their times were this evening. We did quite well. Dean had 2 speeches. His first one was 2 minutes and 25 seconds. His second, 1 minute 55. Pat also had 2 speeches. First one was 3 minutes 24. The second one was 2 minutes 36. Sorry. On the periodic table, that's H2O. Lloyd had 1 speech. It was 1 minute 7. I was 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Barbara had her speech at exactly 2 minutes. Christina, 2 minutes 35. Fabiola, 2 minutes 26. Well done, everyone. That is my report. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Rob. It is wise to periodically have a periodic table. I shall apply that periodically in my own life as the timer in the future. Next is our grammarians report. Dean, how did we do tonight?
Well, everybody did great. Some of you had some last minute uses of the word periodic, but that's just fine. Eric used it twice. Pat used periodic once. Christina, you used it twice. Rob, you used it twice. And I think I used it once on my second try. As for other good grammar or exceptional words, Lloyd used handy dandy and intriguing. Those were both interesting words. Eric, you had quite a few of them. Intrepid, comfortable silence, prerogative, and pandemonium. Those were all great words. Pat, I liked your phrase, wonderful, beautiful, talented daughter. And also that incredibly long word, supercalifragilistic, I think is how it goes. I have no idea what it means. Fabiola, you used the word reboot in relationship to refreshing oneself with a vacation. And I think that was all of the grammatical information I collected. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Dean. Great examples of excellent use of the English language. Our next member of the team is Lloyd Smith, tonight's counter. Lloyd?
Thank you, Christina. We did pretty well tonight. Barbara, you had 3 ahs and a couple of so's. Rob, 1 ah. I had at least 1 ah, and I think I had a in there somewhere too. Christina, nothing. Eric, nothing. Dean, you had a couple of wells. Pat, very uncharacteristic. You had a little tiny in your first table topic speech. I have to say, though, I enjoyed your stream of consciousness second speech quite a bit. Way to stretch it out to the full 2 minutes. And Fabiola, you were the big winner tonight. You had 4 ahs and let's see, 6 ums. And that is it. Other than that, I think we did a pretty good job.
Thank you, Lloyd. I enjoyed our meeting this evening. We started just a couple minutes late. Fabiola was able to get her computer to work so she could join us. Yay, hooray. As Eric shared, Jacob has a new job. He's working until 6 o'clock on Mondays. Hopefully a few weeks or a month or 2 down the road, his schedule can be changed or will change a bit. He would love to come back and be with us. He did say that he watches the recording, even though he's not able to attend. He likes learning from watching speeches, and that way it keeps him close to us in our club. So hello, Jacob, when you listen to this. I would like now to turn it back to our president, Barbara.
Thank you very much, Christina, for being our general evaluator tonight. And thank you, everybody, for those interesting questions and interesting responses. And again, if you have a speech like I do, just commit, do it. I am going to ask if there are any announcements for this evening. Lloyd, okay.
Yeah, I have been asked by Brenda Pangborn, who is a past district governor, who is the chairperson of our spring conference, to find out if anyone is interested in the speech contests. All of the contests are going to be virtual, so there is no travel to any of them, including the district conference, which will be a virtual event. But they're trying to get a handle on how many people to plan for the area and division contests. It appears that interest in the speech contest is down. And so they're giving some thought to having one giant area contest on one day, one time type thing. And that will probably work. So is there anybody in here who is thinking of the two contests are international speech and evaluation? Okay, international speech, there is a qualification. You have to be at least 6 speeches into the old CC manual or 2 levels into a path. But evaluation, any member in good standing, which means dues paid up, is eligible. Hearing no interest, I will move right along. Back to you, Barbara.
Thank you. And Rob, anything from our,
I don't have anything else. Christina, do you have your hand up?
I did have my hand up. Thank you, Rob. The
sorry, Christina.
governor has decided we can be unmasked indoors effective the 11th now. Well, midnight the 11th, so the 12th. My question is, can we go back to meeting in person within the next couple weeks?
I would say there are no limitations on our space at the library. So
I would be in favor of that.
I would be in favor of it too. It would be lovely to be in the same room with everybody.
Yeah.
Given whatever standards the library has, if they want us to be masked or whatever.
nope. The president, our governor actually called out libraries specifically in his no mask required mandate, or not mandate, but update.
Now, we're talking about staying hybrid, correct? In other words, we'd have an online component as well, right?
Yes.
Because we almost have to do that. You know, at the very least, Dean is not likely to, I don't think, Dean, you're going to drive down for our meetings. And if or when Jacob comes back, he'd be in the same boat because he's in Moses Lake.
Yeah, I think hybrid makes sense. I just sort of assumed that's the way we would do it. So these options would be there for those who want to participate. Has anybody heard anything from Kathleen?
I have. She wanted to take a short break. I don't know when she's planning to come back, but I certainly can reach out to her to find out.
About Selena.
Selena's been involved in a project with Link. She too had to step back for a few weeks, but she'll stick with it. She'll be back. I guess, Barbara, at this point, we should decide if we want to meet in person and do the hybrid beginning next week or the week out. I guess it would be after
March
the 11th.
March 14th.
March 14th? Okay.
We should make it clear to everybody too that if members want to come to the live meeting and be masked, that is okay.
Yeah,
I can
certainly.
put that out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in favor of having it in person at the library. So let's try it. March 14th. We'll have it in person at the library and we'll make it hybrid. Maybe we can come early. I think we had it working pretty well. It's just kind of an odd where we had the owl versus the screen behind it. So maybe there's some more things that we could fix in the meantime. So
It'd be nice if we could meet a little bit early and just make sure the technology is where it should be.
perfect. All right. All right. So March 14th. So that means the next meeting will still be completely virtual. Okay.
And maybe we should go out afterward and celebrate being back meeting in person.
Vacation.
Anybody who can or would like to, we can go get a appetizer and a beverage of choice and celebrate being back in one room together.
Hey, I got to say something to Fabiola. We were right. I explained to everybody about our choice of the person to be the superintendent for Eastmont District. And we were right from the very beginning, weren't we?
We were, yes, it was
Amen.
great.
Amen. Amen.
It's awesome that you guys served on that. So
Fabiola also indicated in the chat that she will be gone March 8th through the 20th because she's taking advantage of one of those hikes that she mentioned to us earlier this evening. You will be
Minute-
missed, Fabiola.
I'm actually going to go meet my grandbaby. Oh, yes. I'll be in Florida. I'll think of you guys.
I have nothing else, Madam President.
All right, so I am going to call this evening's meeting to an end.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. See you next week. See you Zoom
Okay.
next.
And I'm going to stop this.